Ho, ho, ho. Welcome to the December update from the Tau team. You're here with me, Fola, aka Santa, and we're going to give you answers to your Q&A questions this month, and then we'll roll on to the business team update. So let's jump into your first question. And this question is from Pluto. He's got three. The first question from Pluto is, can Tau achieve human-machine-human at the end of 2022?
Yes, that's a good question. We were just reviewing the development plans just yesterday, and human-machine and human communication by the end of 2022 will only be rudimentary, will not be ready for public release just yet at the end of 2022. But we're hoping to have a rudimentary version of it internally.
Thank you very much, Karim. I appreciate your answer. And the next question from Pluto is, can you elaborate more about the rules of changing the rules and how Tau deals with the liar's paradox?
The problem with the rules of changing the rules and how they give rise to something like the liar paradox is explained in the podcast. So I guess this question comes from there. So to add things that were not said in the podcast about how the solution looks like, well, we have really we have several problems. We have not only the problem of having a paradox, we also have the problem of how to reason over sentences that contain a reference to truth and self-reference, and or self-reference. They are both a problem by their own. Avoiding paradoxes is done in two parts. First, we need to abstract logical statements to certain abstraction, in particular that we don't have access to how the statement is written, to the syntax of the statement, because it was already proved long ago that if we have this access, then we can recover the liar paradox. Another part is that in any self-referential statements that include a truth predicate, paradoxes will arise. The point is to be able to control the paradox, to know when it arises, and to give the user ability to control it. And this we also achieved. We mapped in our new language all the cases that the paradox can possibly arise and give the user ability to specify what to do in such a case. But this for a simple kind of self-reference, there can be mutual references that end up with self-reference. This is something we didn't finish yet, but it should take the same form of the simple case. And maybe to end with another important part of the solution, that we found some interesting correspondence between some basic language, whatever language it will be, and the same language enhanced with the ability to speak about sentences in that very language. And it turns out that if we abstract enough the logical statements, as we said before, we abstract them enough to not even be able to speak about their syntax, but to be able to do very basic operations with them. If we abstract enough, then the two languages look the same, with and without ability to truth about sentences. After this abstraction, they're exactly the same mathematical structure. This mathematical structure is called the countable atomless Boolean algebra. And because of this correspondence, then at this abstraction level, we can do the same kind of reasoning we would do with or without sentences that belong to the same logic, reference to sentences that belong to the same logic. And this will also give rise to the decidability point that I mentioned before. So in summary, the paradox don't disappear, but we control the paradox. And we are able to control the paradox, and we are able to perform other reasoning tasks because our setting is decidable, and our setting is both non-paradoxical and decidable because we perform this kind of abstraction and then look at logics as countable atomless Boolean algebras.
Thank you very much for the detailed answer that I have. I'll ask Pluto's last question, which is, can you elaborate more about social choice, specifically Arrow's impossibility theorem, and what can tau do about it?
There is a good account for that in the white paper. There is a section about social choice. I really recommend that you read that part again. Specifically, how to avoid Arrow's impossibility. Arrow's impossibility is under some assumptions, 3 assumptions, that one of them is that the preference of one option over the other does not depend on the preference of any other option that is unrelated to those two. And this is the assumption that it is most reasonable to relax, to say that yes, the order of things can depend on ordering of other things. And again, this is all explained in the white paper.
Thank you very much, Ahad. Thank you very much, Pluto, for your questions. The next question is from Tim, and he asks, when can we move the locked Agoras tokens? Any time frame or rough estimate? Okay, so the Agoras are due to be unlocked when we finally release the Tau and the Agoras platform. But they could change. But right now it's due to be released when Agoras are meant to be, tokens meant to be unlocked when the final platform is ready. So the next question is from Green, and they ask, hi, great to see the latest push on interviews and podcasts. I highly enjoy them. Thank you for this. I did notice that thus far, the majority of talk was in the technical and philosophical aspects of the protocol, not so much on the token itself or how it is interwoven into the Tau TML structure. How will the Agoras token be an integral part for Tau chain for which fiat or any other token couldn't suffice in form of payment or working for Tau TML?
So, well, first of all, Agoras will be used as the medium of exchange in the knowledge economy based on Tau and to trade formalized knowledge for cash. It will also be the medium of exchange for the computational resources market over Agoras, over Tau using Agoras. And it will be also the medium of exchange for the derivatives market on top of Agoras. And that also additionally to say to that, Agoras itself is also an economy that is basically controlled by its users. So the economy itself may also change according to users' consensus over time. So there might be even more interesting use cases for the Agoras cryptocurrency over time.
Thank you very much, Killian, and Green and Tim for your questions. All right, so we'll move on to the update from the business team. So I'll ask Carolina to tell us what she's been up to this month.
Hey, everyone. So this month we finally finished our first article on Tau, and it will be posted on Cointelegraph after the holidays so that we can get more traffic. So that's already sorted and planned, and we are excited to see it online. And the next step will be translating the article for the Asian markets, which is also already in the works. So there's finally some movement in the PR area. And this month we've also started working on the visual language of Tau, which involves a lot of discussions on what concepts can we depict and how can we do it in a way that would make Tau ideas not only attractive, but also make them a bit easier to understand at a glance. and we'll be using those illustrations as part of our visual branding language. So we'll be using a lot of those on our new website, and the website is my main focus right now. I'm working on mapping out the content and gathering all the necessary information. And I can tell you that it's not going to be some simple landing page. It will be a very extensive source of information. So we're aiming to balance the technical side and to make it look as credible as it should look, but also make it easier to understand for the people who maybe don't want to dive too deep into the technicalities of Tau. So we're having continuous discussions about it with Killian and with Fola, and Amajit has joined our team to help us with the technical writing side of things. So the process is really picking up speed. And in general, I'm really excited about what the new year will bring, especially since I know that it will for sure bring the long-awaited and well-deserved website on which we'll be able to showcase the branding that we did and reach a wider audience.
Thank you very much, Carolina. And I'll ask Killian to tell us what he's been up to this month as well.
Hi, everybody. So this month, the search for scientific writers has continued, and luckily we found the right match for the team, which is Majid. I'm sure he's going to present himself sometime either in this business update or in the development update that you are going to see anyway also. So he's going to introduce himself there in more depth. Beyond that, we have another interesting candidate who also did her PhD under Professor Franconi, but we still need to see how far or whether we can onboard her. At the same time, we continued with pitching the project to certain community members and beyond, and also improved the pitch deck based on the feedback that we've gotten from those pitches. So now the pitch deck has been facing some restructurement, and that's for the pitch deck so far. Then, as Carolina already mentioned, together with Carolina and Fuller, we've been working on the website content planning, also with Majid now since he's on board. And beyond that, I've been working on some smaller tasks like coordinating the video interview that Professor Franconi and Ohad had together with Smitha on her YouTube channel. I'm sure we're gonna link it in the video description. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's definitely a great piece of content to check out if you're interested in the project. And I also had coordinating the Bitcoin.com podcast, which took place and was released early this month. Also which also is an interview or a podcast episode between Ohad, Professor Franconi, and the host Bitcoin.com. So some really interesting resources have been developed and released this month. Beyond that, I've been also trying to update the logo on CoinMarketCap on CoinGecko for the new Agoras logo, which is already you can see the new logo, but I'm still trying to figure out what the best sizes are to have it depict best on each of those websites. And along that, just been doing some more community support, and connected to that, also the community member of the month. I'm happy to announce it's SysD, SYSD, for proposing a particular research institute to reach out to and potentially collaborate with. So thank you for that. We're always very interested in hearing about potential allies for collaboration. So we really appreciate it. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Killian. I also want to nominate another community member of the month. to Anon. He's just written his name as Anon, but he's made some really interesting suggestions for how we can greatly improve our videos, the community updates, and they look really, really good. And so yeah, it's definitely given us a lot of juices to work with in terms of how we make these whole videos look a lot better. So I'm going to also nominate him for this month's reward. I would like to pass it on to Majid. As you've already heard from Carolina and Killian, he has joined us as our scientific writer. It would be great if Majid could say a few words, introduce himself, and then I'll also wrap up this video with my update.
Hi everyone, my name is Majid. I'm really glad to join Tau teams, and actually this is a great opportunity for me. I'm a PhD candidate in artificial intelligence, and most of my previous works were focused on understanding natural language, but at once I found that the knowledge representation and reasoning is really important, is the basis of the future of the artificial intelligence, and I change a little my way to work knowledge representation and reasoning. And at once I faced with Killian and this great opportunity to join to your team, and I'm so glad. I wish that I could do my best for you.
Thank you very much, Majid. It's great to have you on board, and you've already done some really great things. So really looking forward to working with you, and yeah, you're definitely a great addition to the team. So onwards to next year. And from my side, again, I've been working with Carolina and Killian on what they've been working on in a lot of different ways, and we are looking to bring on a potential long-term sponsored YouTuber in Smita, and Killian and I are working on different sort of models for us to work together in a deeper sense, whether that's her creating content for Tau, or us sponsoring her videos, or you know, just her essentially just working with us just in a much more sort of integrated sense. So that's one of the additional things that we can mention for the month. Alongside bringing on Majid, we've also brought on another developer in David. He's not here on this call right now, but he, I guess, will be on future calls. And Karim can probably tell you a bit more on a development call about what he's up to. So alongside that, I've just been working on internal structuring and planning for growing the team for 2022, and also our marketing plan for 2022 as well. Yeah, that's it for the business team and your Q&A questions. Thank you very, very much, and we'll see you on the dev team call.